Hello and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to this Friday's Freeze Friday. A little bit of a different one for me this week because, as I've mentioned, I'm so happy that I got the Amsterdam album, my May Project Focus album, completed during the month of May with all of the items from May. My How to Kill a Kit with Style, the hexagons, which was the Rediscover Your Stash focus, the mood board, the stencil focus, the kit based on indigo and ivy that Karen and I were using. Anyway, really a perfect example of getting a project focus, digging into your stash, not putting any new products, not shopping, and getting the album done. And so many of you requested to see the album when it was complete that I thought today I would take a break from my regularly scheduled freeze, because we've had a lot of videos this week about kits and things that basically would be the type of thing that I cover in the Freeze Fridays. But because the 1st of June was just Monday, we've had the May layout share, the kit wrap up, the new kit. So I thought today I would do a little bit of recess from Freeze Friday, and we would just look through the Amsterdam album together. And before I go there, just a little word about albums, which I guess goes a lot with the Freeze Friday, because when I started scrapbooking, there were no D-Ring albums, or at least if there were, I wasn't aware of them. So I started scrapbooking in all of these post-bound albums. Like many of you, very quickly I saw that that was a little bit of an annoyance because you have a certain number of pages. I don't like adding to them. I'm really not very good at that. I always get it wrong. So I definitely moved over to the D-Rings, and I was in the process of moving everything into D-Rings. And the freeze has made me conscious of the fact that it's quite wasteful to just get rid of this, recycle this. It's a perfectly good album. So what I've done instead is I have them on the side, and when it works, that is what I use. And as it turns out, this Amsterdam album has 21 layouts. So it was perfect. There are 20 spots in here, and you'll see how I handled the extra little layouts because I have a few 8.5 by 11s. So here's the first page. You have seen this, and this is a page that I did quite a while ago. So hello, Amsterdam. Just a nice, I just love wandering the canals, the streets of Amsterdam, a 5-star city. So this just brings us into Amsterdam. And then this page that you have seen, which I really love, and I really want to do in other albums now, which just gives the facts of Amsterdam, the population, how many Van Gogh paintings, how many museums, how many markets, how many canals, bridges, and houseboats. And you'll see that many of these items that differentiate Amsterdam from other cities, that gives it its identity, oh my goodness, I can speak, are recorded in this album, and they are these things that I've put on this page, with just a few general photos of a market, me walking on a street, by a bridge and canal, and seeing some boats, houseboats a little bit further, and some of the housing in Amsterdam. Which reminds me, one of the things I did not record, and I should maybe go back and do, is the difficulty of moving house. And that was something I did see at one point that I forgot to record, because these windows just reminded me of that. How I remember walking one day and seeing people move and trying to get furniture in and out through this type of window, like couches, people kind of thing. I forgot to record that. I might have to do a 20-second. There we go. And then another thing that, of course, we find in Amsterdam is bicycle parking lots, way more than car parking lots. I'm sure there are car parking lots. At this point in time, I don't actually remember seeing any. Now I go into the neighborhood that I was staying in. This is a recent layout. This is one I did with my How to Kill a Kit for May. The Heineken Museum, which was steps away from the small hotel that I was staying in. So just this was a sketch Sunday, a fun introduction to the neighborhood. This is the name of the neighborhood that I was staying in. I'm not going to try and pronounce that at all. And here is how I've organized the extra little layout. I've done this twice. So right here is an 8.5 by 11. This is the actual pensione. This was also a sketch Sunday. And this was the grocery store that we went to on the first night that I was there, when I found out that already in 2005, there was no bags in grocery stores. And if you recall, in my sketch Sunday, I did all my lovely journaling here on the back. Amsterdam was such a highlight that I went back towards the end of my trip in 2006. We could not stay in the same family-run pensione as it was closed. It reopened as an Ibis style hotel. I loved my stay with the prior owners, a lovely family with a beautiful dog who greeted us at breakfast. And therefore here, right here next to that journaling, is this fun page that I did. And this is definitely an older page. I did this quite a few years ago. We went straight to the grocery store. They had no bags. So all of the things about the neighborhood and the basic stuff about staying, the lovely little brasserie that's over here that we ate in on that first night. The whole city seemed young, educated, vibrant, and environmentally conscious. So I thought that was fun. So that's how I've handled a couple of extra layouts. Here is that lovely puppy who would greet us at breakfast every single morning, and then would adopt this stance because, as I've mentioned before, this is a basement. The breakfast room was in the basement, and there's a window right here, and Puppy would be watching the foot traffic as we were all eating, and then he would escort us back out of the room after breakfast. And then over here, you saw this layout, which is the collaboration that my friends from the Secret Not Secret Kid Club and we did on just this past Monday, about this lovely little brasserie. And this I've mentioned to you before. These photos I found on Google. So Google can be our friend, as I did for the grocery store here. They're in my personal album, so I have absolutely no qualms of using Google Photos. And this photo looks exactly as I was so happy that it was this window that was there, because that is exactly where I was sitting. And I ate nachos, which are still on the menu. And I've done the same kind of thing here. And this, therefore, is the market that I went to almost on a daily basis. It's the largest street market in all of the Netherlands, not just Amsterdam. So, and this is a layout that I did very recently as well. It's a scrap lift of my dear friend Liz from the Secret Not Secret Kid Club. And this is also for the SCT sampler scrapbooking that I'm doing. So we got that one done. So we are still in the neighborhood. And so giving it some sense of flow. And then as we leave the neighborhood, I have this. These are companion pages. I'm not going to call it a double page because I didn't do them as a double page, but I'll have to fix that. Definitely complementary. They are both using my How to Kill a Kit with Style from May. And they are both May I Scrap Lift You layouts as well. This was for Christina Day, and this I was scrap lifting my lovely friend Christy. And this then starts us getting out of the neighborhood. And this was sort of a transition because every day I would go spend an hour or so in Vondel Park, a beautiful large park in the center, or at least in the very metropolitan Amsterdam, a beautiful oasis of nature right there, where sometimes I would stop on my way into town and sometimes at the end of the day to rest after a long day, because most of my visiting was done on foot. And Amsterdam is a very, very walkable city, but I some days walked 20 or so or more kilometers. I pretty much did everything on foot. So this was always a very, very welcome break and oasis, a little bit of mixed media here. Nature, the leaves on here go perfectly with this. These are little ducks, and you can see some of the park benches. Just a nice little breather in the album and in my days when I was in Amsterdam. Then another sort of transition toward town was as I was walking into town, not very far from our pensione, maybe, not even a kilometer, there was this massive big, it's not chess board on the ground, and these people would be playing chess, and I would sometimes stop there as well, get a little coffee or something, and just sit and watch. So I don't really understand chess, but it was just fun watching these people. And this particular gentleman, I have no idea who he is, was there every single day that I passed by. Anyway, almost every day, people would gather to watch this group play chess. This day was quiet, but sometimes would be 3 or 4 deep all the way around. Total silence, and we really just everybody watching. You take it all very, 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 very seriously. I would sit for a coffee before heading out, or on the way back from a day of sightseeing. So this was fun. And this layout you saw also very, very recently, just this past Sunday for Sketch Sunday. Got my hexagons out. Used one of the page kits that I put together with the leftovers of the Gingham Farm. So this is a page kit layout. This is talking about a restaurant terrace, which is actually out on the water. That was also fun to see. And then we move over here. If it's bikes and canals, it must be Amsterdam, which I thought was fun. So this is an older layout as well that just sort of introduces a part of the album where I talk a little bit more about the canals, the houseboats, and the things on the water and bikes within Amsterdam, which is really one of the things that I loved the most. So what a beautiful city. Small enough to walk everywhere, yet still quite cosmopolitan. Very cultural, environmentally conscious, and a little bohemian. Tolerant, loving, and peaceful people. I love it. And that's how I felt about Amsterdam, July 2005. And I put here, and May 2006, because I did go back on my way back up before coming home. You saw this layout also very recently. This is another scrap lift. It's a scrap lift of my dear friend Ronnie Sue Scrapper here on YouTube. I used yet again one of those page kits that I put together, but this time I added the Vicky Wooten 6x8 paper. And this one talks about the houseboat. So I got lucky here. There is no place like home. So I thought this sort of banner piece would just fit up there perfectly. Some chipboard houses, Home is where the boat is, and that's what I'm trying to portray here. And if you recall, there are 2,500, is that what I said? 2,500 houseboats in 2005, 165 canals, and 1,281 bridges. So you can see how important the canals and the houseboats, and how different a lifestyle that would be. I'm assuming quite a minimalist lifestyle, as a houseboat cannot be very, very big. My bestie and her husband took a year sabbatical just a couple of years before I took mine to backpack around Europe. They took a year sabbatical on a small sailboat, a little Tanzer, I think it was a 26-foot, like a tiny one, through Canada, down in the States, and over to Cuba, over to the Bahamas, and that was quite interesting. And in these little spaces, you certainly need to learn how to live minimalistically. Is that the word? There you go. So that is, home is where the boat is. Then Again, if it's bikes, it must be Amsterdam. I guess I did these two layouts a little far apart, and I sort of repeat a little bit the title, but these are just the bikes. You see, this one, I don't even think this bike was being used. It might just be decoration, although it might, because so many people take pride in their bicycles, decorated this with beautiful florals. It was just lovely. Many of them had the baskets and had their puppies or their kitties in the basket, and they would be cycling all over the place. Here's a little kitty. I don't know if he's waiting for his owner to bring the basket out so they can go for a little bit of a ride. As I say here, all types, often with little baskets on the handlebars to transport pets or the shopping. Just lovely. There are roughly 600,000 bicycles in Amsterdam, and you have to remember that in those days there were about 1.5 million people. So that's a lot of bicycles. Amsterdam is a peddler's paradise. Peddlers as in pedals, not as in selling. Many of the streets are closed to cars, but have these lovely wide pedestrian spaces, and of course a cycling path along the sides. Just part of Amsterdam's tremendous charm, together with its friendly people, lovely culture and art. So you can see here, this photo shows it even better, where right here down in the middle is basically the bike path. So this is where you bike, and on either side of that is the pedestrian area, homes, shops, just lovely. And here, the pedestrian walkways in more down the middle, and then I guess the sort of bike, I don't know what that motorcycle is doing there on the sides. This is a much older layout as well. And then we transition now into really going closer into town. On our way, a lovely day at the Van Gogh Museum. This is a layout you've seen quite recently as well, that I have done for the SCT Sampler scrapbooking. Again, just to show off some lovely 6x6 paper. 6x6 paper, which was one of our product focuses for May. And then into the more downtown core of Amsterdam, the beautiful Tulip Market. This is a May I Scrap Lift You? I was scrap lifting Glenda, my dear friend Glenda, and I used a piece of Vicky Bouton's background paper, the prepared ones, but added a little extra mixed media, and I thought that was fun. So there's an idea. If you have those lovely Vicky Bouton pre-made backgrounds, you can add a little bit to them if you want to. And I just love this layout. It's quite a heavier one. There's lots of layers, some stuff popped up, but this is one of my favorite layouts that I've done recently for sure. Still in the downtown, this is another one of my favorite layouts from May. And this was Scraplifting Sandy, who is State Goddess, here on YouTube. And it doubled as a stamp with me, the collaboration that I do on the second Wednesday of every month with a lot of my scrappy friends. So I got some stamping, some of that beautiful Nouveau Glacier paste, my How to Kill a Kit with Style. Again, a little bit of clustering. So this is another fun layout, fun scrap lift. And then to round out the album, which is a layout that I did quite a long time ago, which is and I researched how to say goodbye and thank you. So Amsterdam, goodbye and thank you. And just a little bit of a deconstructed, a little bit of layering down here. I kind of like this. I haven't done this kind of layout in a long time. I should do that again. I kind of like that. It's kind of fun. Gets lots of little bits and pieces and stickers. Christy, this would be a fun way to use up our stickers and some chipboard, wouldn't it? Look, because I think a lot of these are die cuts on this particular page, but these could definitely be stickers after this. And so that is a goodbye, and that is me with my big backpack, walking up into the station, about to take the train on to the next destination. So there you go. So thank you for coming along with me. back to Amsterdam and my couple of weeks in Amsterdam, which I absolutely loved. So tell me, do you like these types of album shares? Would you like me to continue this kind of thing? If you recall here, I started at the beginning with what I had done. I chose the photos with you. Then midway on the 15th, Freeze Friday, I came in and showed you the layouts that I got done. And now we are doing the completed album share. If you like that kind of thing, please leave me a comment down below and I will be sure to do that again. I think maybe the next one might be Switzerland. And I've realized that I do have my Scotland album complete. That's been complete for a few years. Would you like to see that? Let me know down below. Thank you for spending your time with me. Thank you for doing a little armchair traveling with me, my friends. And I will see you again soon. Have a lovely, scrappy day. Bye.